Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Still plan ahead for some warm to hot temps and potentially in areas of state some increasing patchy to maybe widespread haze and wildfire smoke. We have up to major heat risks, and the northern panhandle included in an air quality alert too. Up with that northwest wind flow aloft, some dropping in wildfire smoke from those ongoing fires up in extreme northern Minnesota and western Ontario, Canada. Yeah, and over the next 5 days, potential precipitation that's not here yet. End of the week and the weekend, some likely rain showers return and may lead to some local flash flooding concerns as well, and potentially some isolated to scattered severe storms for the weekend. Also today, some northern areas, some isolated severe storms are possible, including the northern and eastern panhandle, Morgantown as well. Be weather aware. High of 89 yesterday in Charleston. What the radar may look like, again, satellite too, had some areas of that river valley fog again, still potentially dense late this morning. Again, northern areas, it's isolated potential of showers and storms that could go strong or severe. Fly severe forecast, it starts at home. There's widespread dense wildfire smoke for potentially a number of these cities here, areas around the Great Lakes in southern Canada, up to hazardous air quality is noted up there. Northern Panhandle, air quality alert in effect, highs upper 80s to mid 90s. Again, a major heat risk today, mid 60s tonight. For the eastern Panhandle spots, highs up to 99 in Martinsburg with that slight chance of a shower and storm and potentially some patchy to widespread smoke moving in. For our central areas, haze and smoke, highs 80s and 90s, lows 60s and 70s tonight. And to the south, 80s and 90s, still some warm to hot temps, and I'll watch for some hazy conditions. Chance of showers and storms Friday, likely Saturday, and still some multiple chances of showers and storms with highs in the 80s next week.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Live from West Virginia's capital city with news from across the state. This is Metro News Midday, presented by Salango Law with 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and Metro News' Dave Allen.
Welcome into the 2 o'clock hour, the final hour of Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Dave Allen in the host chair, Stephanie Pauly, Ryan Nicholson, our producers today. Open line, West Virginia. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, your calls and text at 1-800-765-TALK or text 304-TALK-304. It's Metro News Midday.
Metro News Midday is presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com. Join in by calling 800-765-8255 or text 304-TALK-304. Let's go live to downtown Charleston. Here's Dave Allen.
Another sultry day here in the Mountain State. It's Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. One step closer to the weekend. I am Dave Allen, 1-800-765-TALK. That's your phone number for Open Line West Virginia. You can text 304-TALK-304. We all know about the problem with addiction in the state of West Virginia and in Appalachia in general. It's quite a problem. There's not a single listener out there, not a single person in this building, as a matter of fact, today whose life in one way or the other has not been impacted by drug addiction. We all completely understand that, and we know there's a lot of folks that are doing some wonderful things in the recovery community around the state of West Virginia. And I think everybody supports that, but I think it's also the right of residents and local businesses to ask some questions when some things seem to be a little bit awry, and I'll leave it at that. Ashley Erwin, recently, she is down in Mingo County, and she recently spoke in front of the Mingo County Commission about some current concerns that she had, and her video of her presentation has pretty much gone viral. I happened to see it yesterday and invited her to come on the show, and she joins us now. Ashley, good afternoon, and welcome to the show.
Hi, it's nice to be here.
Thank you for being here. All right, so take this from the top and tell us about this facility in Williamson and why you are concerned about it.
Well, as you said, there's no area of West Virginia, really no area of the United States now but there's no area in West Virginia, no community, no family that isn't affected by drug addiction in some way, shape, or form. We're all subject to it in some way, and it's been a problem here in our county for years now, but it just seems to be getting worse by the day, honestly. And we have several facilities here that help people or are supposed to help people. But it seems that our homeless population has really increased just in the past few years. And it's brought about the question in my mind, are these people receiving proper treatment? What is their release like? What's the protocol on that? Because it just seems like something's off. The number of strangers, these are all small communities. You know everybody, especially if you've grown up in them. You know just about everybody. But each day as I go into town or into different communities in Mingo County, I see less and less people that I know. And as a parent, that's alarming to me, and it's alarming to me as a female. And so I just had some questions. And a lot of people like to get on social media nowadays and talk about things, but I just felt like the right thing to do. I didn't get a posse behind me. I just went myself and I spoke before the commission and just asked some questions, asked them to do a deep review of what was going on in our communities, just in hopes of increasing safety, really.
Talk about the facility, and we don't need to get into the names or the personalities or anything like that, but talk about this facility, particularly where it is in the community. It's in Williamson, right?
Yes.
All right. Talk about its proximity, what's close to it, and why are you so concerned about it? I know you talked about the amount of people that you've seen that you didn't recognize, and as somebody who is from a small town, one county over, I know exactly what you're talking about there. Many of our listeners do as well. But talk about this facility.
Well, really, there was a post online, and as a parent, I try to keep up with the registered sex offender site in our, I try to keep up with the people in our area just for safety concerns for my children. And somebody had made a post about sex offenders in our area, local to this area specifically. And I noticed there was one address that kept popping up on several of these people's information. And when I researched the address, it was one of the rehab facilities. And so that's kind of what got me looking into this more. I didn't know that it was legal to have sex offenders in these types of facilities, or if it was legal. So that was kind of where my research started. And so, unfortunately, I think this particular facility is one of the only in the state that does accept registered sex offenders. And that just concerns me for our community. I mean, it's right in town. This facility is right in downtown Williamson. So there are daycares, there are, schools, there are different facilities that children have practices at, whether it be, fine arts or sports facilities or whatever. So it was just a concern for me about their proximity to, children, really.
Talk about the facility itself. I mean, when you, and I am very familiar with Williamson, but I'm not familiar with this facility. When you drive by it, is it the type of facility that's if you didn't know what was going on there as far as the treatment, you may not know? It looks like a residential house. It does look like an actual place where care is being given. What does the building physically look like? It's
actually an old hotel in our town that they turned into a treatment facility. I don't think anybody just driving by would know that that's what it was. It just looks like a hotel building. And it had been shut down for some time. And I'm all about repurposing facilities in a town. If things don't get used, they will get abused. So I love to see business come to our area, especially this area where coal is, it's quickly on its way out. People are losing jobs. We need opportunities for jobs, and we have, many people who are addicted that need help. But this particular facility, we just, I think it's safe to say, based on the reaction from my presentation to the commission, I think other people are concerned about its proximity as well, because we feel like the people from that facility sometimes, infiltrate the downtown area and make make our goings and comings in town, whether it's business or pleasure or whatever, make it seem it makes it feel uneasy at times.
And again, we're talking with Ashley Erwin, who's a concerned citizen about this treatment facility, which is located in Williamson. So you took your concerns to the Mingo County Commission in this video that I referenced earlier that's gone viral right now. What did you say to the county commission during that meeting? Was the meeting yesterday morning? Is that right?
It was it was the day before yesterday.
Okay.
It was 2 days
All right.
ago, yeah.
Okay. It was on Tuesday. So what did you say to the county commissioners?
Well, I thoughtfully and prayerfully just did some research about these types of facilities and the protocol for them when, federal or state fund is used to provide these people treatment. And I just asked them, to do a deep review of the facility and the governing board over this facility to make sure that things were being done appropriately. My job is dictated by policy and law, as is most people's. And I have always said, if you follow policy, you will always be safe and you will always be covered and you'll always do right because, we vote people in to make policy and law. And theoretically, if you follow that, you're doing the right thing, and so I just ask them to simply look into this facility and the governing board and to make sure that it was being run appropriately so that the safety of our town was at the forefront of, their concerns and their thoughts. Because I will say this, I have lived in this area my whole life, but about 10 years ago, I lived in town, and it was before I was married and had children, and I would go for runs in the evenings after work, on the edge of dark, and I never felt unsafe doing that. I knew people when I would pass people on the street. I knew who they were, and I would say hello. And now when I take my children to, different extracurriculars that they have in and around town, even walking in broad daylight, I feel sometimes unsafe, and I don't like that. And it shouldn't be that way. I stayed here in southern West Virginia not only to do a work here, but also to raise my family here because, historically, southern West Virginia is known for low crime rate. Yeah, I know people who say, well, I still leave my doors unlocked and, at night, which I think is crazy, but that's besides the point.
Right.
But, that there's a sense of safety in this area, a sense of safety that you don't get in larger areas. But I feel like that's being taken away from us due to some of these facilities. And I certainly believe that people who are in active addiction need and deserve help. They deserve help. They're humans, just like you and I, and they deserve all the help that we can give them. But they don't deserve it at our cost, And so I think there's a checks and balances there, and I don't know that the pendulum's swinging in the middle. I think it's kind of swinging to one direction. So
you go before the Mingo County Commission on Wednesday. I've seen the video. It's not hard to find. Like I said, it's kind of gone viral. What was their response when you brought up your concerns?
Well, I did not ask to be placed on the agenda. I just spoke during public comment. Mm-hmm. And I really did not expect a lengthy conversation to come about after I gave my speech. It was really just me being a concerned citizen and putting action to my concerns, which I think if we all did that, it would be a better world. But I didn't want to be a Facebook warrior. I wanted to be somebody who took action. So I went before them and I spoke. I think the video went viral not simply because of what I said, but it was the lack of response that I got. Now, I was told after the fact that they are not supposed to comment when during public comment. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's probably true. I don't see why that would be. I don't know all the rules on how the county commission meetings run, but people were most outraged that they were signing documents during my speech. They were, ruffling through file folders, and it just seems like they were being very flippant. I'm not personally offended. It did seem like that to me as well, but I have no idea what their motives were for that. But I think that's what got people so outraged. Is it seemed like they were not paying any attention to me whatsoever.
Well, I looked at the video. As I said, I saw it just like everybody else did, and I've never met you. I don't know you. Not till I reached out to you yesterday about coming on the show. But I saw the video myself, and I thought, well, if this, and I don't have a dog in the fight, other than the fact that if a citizen comes before any public board like that, in this case the Mingo County Commission, and issues a concern, I mean, to me, it just seems like that they probably could have done a better job of at least appearing to be interested. Because, I mean, as an outsider looking in, literally I'm watching it online, it just looked like that they were not that concerned, and they were, as you said, flipping through papers and signing documents and so on and so forth. It was almost, it kind of gave, may not be true, but it kind of gave off the air as like, okay, speak, and then we're going to move on. Again, if it's their protocol that they don't speak during public comment periods, that's perfect. I can tell you that's not the way it's done in the county where I live currently. But they just to me seem like that they really weren't that concerned. At least that's the air that it gave to an outsider. I can imagine what kind of a vibe it gave off to an insider.
Well, I'll say this. When I was talking, I had prepared a speech because I do have the gift of gab, but I also like to seem, I like to be poised and seem educated and well-spoken. So, it's very hard to organize all your thoughts in your head and say everything you want to say. So I felt like it was better if I wrote it out and read from the paper, and so that's what I did. But I think it's funny how the brain works. You can be reading something and thinking something's completely different at the same time. And I did, at one point, I thought, is this really happening? As I was reading this speech, I was like, is this really happening? But I did what I felt like I needed to do. And I felt my goal was to put action to my concerns. And so I thought, whether that falls on deaf ears or not, I did what I came here to do. But it's funny how things work sometimes, because I think in their silence, it spoke so loudly. Because I think the videos may not have gone so viral had I gotten some discourse. Mm-hmm. So I am not certainly not trying to lead any kind of lynch mob or anything like that. But I just, like I said, I'm a concerned citizen, and I care about my community. I care about the children in this community so much. My life's work is children, and I truly mean that. It's not just something I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I truly mean that. And I have 3 little ones of my own, 3 beautiful children that I want to give them the childhood that I had here. I had even though it was tucked in the mountains of West Virginia, and people might have, outsiders may say that I didn't have a lot of experience, I feel like I had a very rich childhood. I have a wonderful family, and I was raised well here, not just by my family, but by the people here. I was raised by the people, and I would love for my children to have that same experience. And if I see a problem, that's the beautiful part about being an American. We all may have different political views, but I think we can all agree that one of the most beautiful things about living in this country is that if we have a problem, we have the freedom to say it. And so that was my goal, and I feel like I accomplished my goal by bringing attention to a situation, whether the county commission regarded that or not, that's on them.
Okay,
but,
Ashley, we've only got about 2 minutes here. I want to ask you. You mentioned the funding of this particular program, and you had some questions or concerns. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I just know typically, and I don't have all the facts in front of me, but I know typically when people are court ordered or whatever to go to a rehab facility, typically that's Medicaid funded, and I have, reason to believe that there's at least in part this facility is funded through, like a state or federally funded program. And anytime you have state or federally funded program, there are, kind of strict stipulations to those things. And I just asked the county commission to ensure that those laws and policies were being met and followed, and that our funding is being used accordingly. That's tax dollars, so that's my money, your money, and anybody that works, that's our money being used. So I want to see it be used correctly.
What do you want to see now going forward? Because this meeting was Wednesday. As I said, the video's gone viral, and you could find it just about anywhere out there if you want to see it. What do you want to see happen next, and what has been the response from people in your community over this? We got about a minute. Go ahead.
The response has been overwhelming, to say the least. I never expected it. It's kind of inundating just to get on Facebook right now because I have so many messages or comments or whatever. But I'm proud that people are wanting to see change in our community, see positive change. But I just hope to see accountability and awareness be brought to this situation, and for these people to get a fair shot at sobriety, and for us here in Mingo County to feel safe again. I think that would be a win on both sides.
Ashley Erwin, it is an interesting story. As I said, it was brought to my attention yesterday, and after I saw the video, and I was just kind of like, well, this is kind of odd, the response and everything. And look, I completely understand all of your concerns. And let me just close by saying this. No one is saying that the people that are in the recovery services don't need help. I think it's just the manner of which, and there is a responsibility, in my opinion, to those that are around it as well. I appreciate you being here. Stay in touch with us, and best of luck to you and all those with you that share your concerns. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
It's 2:25. We'll take a break and come back after this.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at Dan Cava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
We're going to do public math. So it's 31 divided by 4.
Yeah, just under 8 per win.
Just mark it down.
Put Tony and I down for 8. Coach Hunter, put us on the prediction show for 8. We already got it. There's the math.
Just go. Sportsline on Metro News Television.
Welcome back to the show. Coming up on 2:29. And let me just say this about the previous interview that I did with concerned citizen from Mingo County, Ashley Erwin. I did not know her at all, and I reached out to her after I saw the video posted by a friend on social media, and kind of did some reaching out. And it's West Virginia; it's not hard to find somebody. So, talked to her a little bit yesterday and asked her to come on the show today. Anybody that's a member of that has an opposing view on that, whether it's a member of the Mingo County Commission or whatever, they're welcome to contact me. I will try to get maybe in touch with them and see if I can get them on the show. I just don't want people to think I'm only presenting one side of the issue, because there's 2, 3, 4 sides to every issue. But certainly, in my opinion, she raises some interesting questions. And again, everybody I think wants people in the addiction community to get help, but there's also a right and wrong way to do it, in my opinion. And it just seems like to me, I'm not saying it's wrong, but there's a lot of questions about it with the way it's being handled down there. We'll take a break and come back after this. Stay with us.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Still plan ahead for some warm to hot temps and potentially in areas of state some increasing patchy to maybe widespread haze and wildfire smoke. We have up to major heat risks, and the northern panhandle included in an air quality alert too. Up with that northwest wind flow aloft, some dropping in wildfire smoke from those ongoing fires up in extreme northern Minnesota and western Ontario, Canada. Yeah, and over the next 5 days, potential precipitation that's not here yet. End of the week and the weekend, some likely rain showers return and may lead to some local flash flooding concerns as well, and potentially some isolated to scattered severe storms for the weekend. Also today, some northern areas, some isolated severe storms are possible, including the northern and eastern panhandle, Morgantown as well. Be weather aware. High of 89 yesterday in Charleston. What the radar may look like, again, satellite too, had some areas of that River Valley fog again, still potentially dense late this morning. Again, northern areas, it's isolated potential of showers and storms that could go strong or severe. Fly severe forecast, it starts at home. There's widespread dense wildfire smoke for potentially a number of these cities here, areas around the Great Lakes in southern Canada, up to hazardous air quality is noted up there. Northern Panhandle, air quality alert in effect, highs upper 80s to mid 90s. Again, a major heat risk today, mid 60s tonight. For the eastern Panhandle spots, highs up to 99 in Martinsburg with that slight chance of a shower and storm and potentially some patchy to widespread smoke moving in. For our central areas, haze and smoke, highs 80s and 90s, lows 60s and 70s tonight. And to the south, 80s and 90s, still some warm to hot temps, and I'll watch for some hazy conditions. Chance of showers and storms Friday, likely Saturday, and still some multiple chances of showers and storms with highs in the 80s next week.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Okay, so we're going to do public math. So he won 9 his second year at West Virginia, 5 his second year at Michigan, 8 his second year at Arizona, second year at Jack State, he won 9, so it's 31 divided by 4.
Yeah, just under 8 per win. Or per season.
So there you go, Hunter. You can just forget about everything else and just mark it down.
Put Tony and I down for 8. Coach Hunter, put us on the prediction show for 8. We already got it.
Sportsline on Metro News Television. You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It's good to be back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a
bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kercheval. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talk Line on Metro News Television.
If you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
This is Metro News Midday, presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com.
Welcome back to the show. 26 away from 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon. It's Metro News Midday. Stephanie Pauly, Ryan Nicholson, our producer today. I am Dave Allen. Thank you for hanging out with me on a Thursday afternoon. One step closer to the weekend. You know, we spent a lot of time all this week. The flock cameras are the new data centers. I mean, I know they kind of go together in some instances, but this has been what's kind of captured everybody's imagination this week. And within the hour, I thought this was kind of interesting. In Putnam County, the sheriff there, frequent guest of the show, Bobby Eggleton, issued a statement placed on the Putnam County Sheriff's social media, and I'll read it, and it is dated today's date. It says, in June 2025, the Putnam County Sheriff's Office entered into a contract with Flock Safety for the installation of 8 cameras to be placed throughout the county. Permission had to be granted by numerous entities for these cameras to be installed before the system could be activated. As of this date, the system has not been activated, and no data, no in all capital letters, no data has been received. Sheriff goes on to say, due to public concerns and after much discussion with the Putnam County Commission, the system will not be activated in Putnam County until further research and public education can be conducted. When and if the system is activated, the public will be notified immediately, and it was signed Bobby Eggleton, the sheriff of Putnam County. That is very interesting. And again, that is, and if you know Bobby Eggleton, and I've known Bobby Eggleton, the sheriff of Putnam County, for a number of years. He's a law and order kind of guy, right down to the cowboy hat and the cowboy boots. And for him, speaking on behalf of the county, to come out and make that statement, I think is very interesting. Because one of the arguments that we heard for the cameras in certain communities, including in Huntington, was that they needed this for public safety, so on and so forth. Well, here is a sheriff of the next county over. So I'm not trying to put words into Bobby Eggleton's mouth. Matter of fact, we'll try to maybe effort him and try to get him on the show, perhaps tomorrow or Monday. But he seems to me, what I'm reading into that, and I've not talked to Sheriff Eggleton about it, that he's got some concerns with the information aspect of it. And again, on yesterday's show, we talked to the mayor of Barbersville, Chris Tatum, the village of Barbersville as it's known. And he point blank said as long as he's mayor, they'll never be in his town or his village. And he did, rightfully, in our discussion yesterday, say there's a big difference between Barbersville and Huntington. Just like I would say there's a big difference between, let's say, the metropolitan area of Huntington and all of Putnam County. So, interesting statement there from the Putnam County sheriff in relation to that. So we'll see where it goes from there. I'll see if we can get Mr. Eggleton on the show tomorrow or Monday. Speaking of which, the mayor of Huntington, Patrick Farrell, we have a verbal commitment with him to be on the show tomorrow. I talked to him via text Wednesday, and he was flying out. And he said that he would try to be back. I think he said he was coming back today and that he should be available tomorrow. So we'll try to have him on midday tomorrow. We don't have the time. We have a verbal commitment from him, but don't have the time locked down as of yet. So it'll be interesting talking to Mayor Farrell about that coming up on the show tomorrow if we can get to him tomorrow. 1-800-765-TALK. That's the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. On this parasitic infection that everybody's talking about, texter just says simply 2 words: buy local. Buy local. Grow your own. Talking about, well, never mind. 1-800-765-TALK. Text 304-TALK-304. Text, I've said this before. If anyone not named Jim Justice would have done the things Jim Justice has done, we'd all be under the jail. Money talks, and, well, you know the rest, says the texter. On the power plant issue, texter says, not a coal-fired plant. gas-fired. Yeah, I think that maybe there was a misspokenness, if you will, by the UMWA's Brian Sanson when he was on earlier. I kind of caught it too, but yeah, I understood. Text says city councils and county commissions don't care, and that's everywhere. They serve to promote their brand and themselves, hoping to elevate their careers, says a texter. I don't know if that's true of all of them, but appreciate the text. Text says, so Donald Trump is giving a speech tonight at 9 o'clock. I guess that means I'll switch to Andy Griffith at 8:59. It was one of the black and white episodes of Andy Griffith, though, because I'm a huge Andy Griffith fan, and it kind of went where when the episodes went to the color and when Barney left, in my opinion. Speaking of which, I'll throw this out here because it's of utmost importance to your host. Only one cast member of Sanford and Son left now. Hal Williams has passed away. The cops, Hoppy and Smitty. Well, he was one of them. You got to be careful how you say that because somebody will say he was one of the two. I'll put it that way. Because somebody will say so if I say he was one of them. And he's passed away. And of course, Demond Wilson died a few months ago, who played Lamont. So regular cast members of the show Sanford and Son, only Officer Hopkins remains. He's the only one of the cast of the greatest television show in history left. Hal Williams, of course, also on the TV show Private Benjamin and also on 227 as well. I think it was 91, I think is what I read. 1-800-765-TALK, text 304-TALK 304. Text says, you know what never gave me explosive diarrhea, Dave? Red meat and beer. Well, yeah. Text says, did your previous guest vote for Trump? Just wondering why she would have a problem with people on a sex offender registry getting help, but not adjudicated rapists in the Epstein files running the country. I do not know who Ashley Erwin voted for. I do not know Ashley Erwin. I never had a conversation with her at all until yesterday about this. In our conversation we had yesterday afternoon to set up the interview today, we did not talk national politics, and I'm really not sure what national politics has to do with this to begin with. Her concern was over a rehabilitation facility, whatever you want to call it, being placed in a downtown area with so many, her words, sex offenders living in one place. Not sure at all what that has to do with national politics. I don't know who she voted for. Not only do I not know, I don't care. It's not relevant to the situation. 19 away from 3, 1-800-765-TALK, text 304-TALK 304. Text says, here on your network and other places, every day President Trump's poll numbers are going down. I call BS. Among my friends and family, he's more popular than ever. Well, that may be true. It may be true for your friends and family, but nationwide, it's not true. That's not an opinion. That's what the polling says. Matter of fact, he is going to give a speech, as the previous texter referenced, tonight at 9 o'clock. And there's a lot of speculation of what it's about. Most people seem to think it is going to have to do with elections and his repeated claims about the 2020 election being stolen, maybe even beyond that. Of course, the midterms are coming up. Most political pundits believe that it is going to be a butt-kicking, nationwide I'm talking about. And I'm not going to try to, get in the prediction business myself because 9 o'clock is way past my bedtime. I'll be catching the highlights tomorrow morning. But I think it would not surprise me if his goal was to put a cloud over the upcoming election. I don't know. I was going to say we'll find out tonight. I'll find out tomorrow morning. 18 minutes away from 3. Text, goes right along with what I'm saying. Mark my words, President Trump will interfere with the midterms. Maybe he'll do enough to finally go to prison this time, one can hope, says the texter. Text, the data center companies and the surveillance companies are all here to make money, plain and simple. Will West Virginia citizens let corporations subvert the Constitution and profit off West Virginia and also let conglomerates abuse and pollute the resources of this great state? The next elections will tell. People just love to whine, says the texter. I couldn't care less whether or not the time goes back or forward. I go to work in the dark and come home in the dark, no matter what. Well, I'll say this, and we'll go to break. There was a time when that was pretty much when I was doing morning radio. As I got up at 3 a.m. 6 days a week, so it didn't really matter to me, what time zone or not time zone, what following of the clock we were doing or not doing, because 3 a.m. was 3 a.m. And even now that I don't do morning radio anymore, early morning radio, I couldn't care less. It's one of these things, and it's just me, I guess, but people say, it takes me forever to get used to this time. You know how long it took me to get used to the time? As soon as I changed the clock. That's what time it is. 2:44. We'll take a break and come back after this.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Okay, so we're going to do public math. So he won 9 his second year at West Virginia, 5 his second year at Michigan, 8 his second year at Arizona, second year at Jack State, he won 9, so it's 31 divided by 4.
Yeah, just under 8 per win or per season.
So there you go, Hunter. You can just forget about everything else and just mark it down.
Put Tony and I down for 8, Coach Hunter. Put us on the prediction show for 8. We already got it.
Sportsline on Metro News Television.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
First thing I hear when those mics go on is you just coughing, and I'm just like, this guy.
You don't appreciate me giving that show a little ratings boost?
Coughing directly onto these microphones? No, I don't want it.
Hotline on Metro News Television.
Welcome back to the show. 12 away from 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. Metro News Midday powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Stephanie Pauly And Ryan Nicholson, our producers today. Dave Allen in the host chair. Metro News Midday heard all over the great state of West Virginia. Great radio stations like WSLW in White Sulphur Springs, WKKX and WVLY in Wheeling, WEPM Martinsburg, WAJR Morgantown, WKLP Kaiser, WVW Logan, WKMZ Clarksburg, WD&E in Elkins, WJLS in Beckley, and our flagship here in Charleston, WCHS. Mentioned about the president's speech tonight. Senator Raphael Warnock, Democrat from Georgia, has released a statement here that says, this was his words over the last little bit. Trump is trying to sow doubt on the integrity of our elections in Georgia so that he can create the pretext to interfere in 2026. The president is a liar, cheater, and a fraud, and he's shown us over and over again that staying in power matters more to him than anything else. That from Senator Raphael Warnock out of the state of Georgia. Texas community members stepped up, and Harrisonburg, Virginia, is terminating their contract with flock cameras, says the texter. Amen to the texter that said they don't believe the anti-Trump polls from the crooked media. Still flying my Trump flag here in Boone County, as are my neighbors. Well, you do you. You do you. Text, government may finally get their wish of total surveillance with these flock cameras. Important to note, though, as we talked about a little bit earlier, that these cameras do not affect private property. So we had yesterday, we talked a little bit about, some of these in South Charleston, but the ones that were pointed out to us are on private property. You can pretty much do what you want. On your, whether you're a store or your retail establishment, whatever, but I think the issue is governmental and taxpayer money being spent for them. 1-800-765-TALK, text 304-TALK 304. Text, I would rather drink McDowell County tap water than to listen to President Trump speak. Text Dave, most issues have nothing to do with the federal government or even the state government, but then again, I could be wrong. For the price of a Ferris wheel, we could have paved every road in West Virginia and fixed all the water problems in the southern part of the state, at least according to some. Text, remember when Hoppy had some of Rolo's special brownies? Now, that was funny. Thanks, Todd in Hedgesville. Texter. Text, so wait, you're telling me there's corruption in Mingo County? Saying it ain't so? Well, I don't think that our guest was I don't think she was coming out and saying corruption. I think she just had questions, and she was questioning the Mingo County Commission in her last half hour segment. I don't know that she was alleging corruption. I think she just was saying she had questions. Text says, if you have an iPhone, you're already being surveilled. Don't be stupid, says the texter. Well, the difference, again, is that you have a choice as to whether to have an iPhone or not. You do not have to have an iPhone. You do not have to have, or whatever your phone of choice is, you do not have to have those. Okay? That's the difference. And again, you're right. I mean, I have everything possible turned off on my phone, and still, I'm not a conspiracy theory person, but still weird stuff happens every now and then, like conversations, and suddenly ads appear. And again, microphone's turned off, my locations are turned off. I have nothing on my phone like that. Matter of fact, when I got my most recent phone, and I'm the type of guy that when I get a phone, I get a phone when my other one breaks, when it's dead. If it were up to me, I'd still probably have a bag phone, if even that. But one of the first things I did when I got my most recent phone was to go through and delete half of the apps that came on it because I don't need it. I don't need FaceTime. Gone. Text said, at one point I was on board the Trump train, but now I've had my fill of the 14-year-old bully always wanting to poke the bear to get a reaction, says the texter. Text, Trump will try to taint the election as he tried to with FIFA and the World Cup. He'll lose America, says the texter. Text, get the flock out of Huntington. I think there's some money to be made there in the T-shirt business. Text, anytime you can get liberals and conservatives to agree, you must be doing something right. Both sides are firmly against these cameras. That should tell you so. That's been my co-host Amanda Barron came up with the term odd bedfellows. And I would agree with that. We don't need data centers anywhere in West Virginia, says the texter. Get that through your heads. Nowhere. Final text of the day. This will be, probably should save this text till tomorrow. This is a Good Friday text, but I'll read it today to close us out. Text says, people are crazy nowadays about politics. Everyone, please try to relax. 2:53. We'll wrap it up after this.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
All children deserve the best start. That includes good oral.
Of course, the OVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
Hey, I take offense of that.
Why would you do that?
Because on midday, the last segment, the first thing I hear when those mics go on is you just coughing, and I'm just like, this guy.
You don't appreciate me giving that show a little ratings boost at the end, a little boom boom?
You coughing directly onto these microphones? No, I don't want it.
I don't know where this came from.
Everybody.
I'm in another room, guys. I don't know.
Everybody.
Hey, Coop,
I'm just watching this.
Hotline on Metro News Television.
Welcome back to the show. 3 minutes before the top of the hour. If you're not yet done so, download the Metro News Television app. All kinds of reasons for you to do shows. State of Minds, Three Guys, and, of course, Metro News Weather with Metro News meteorologist Brian Hughes and his team of meteorologists. You can also follow them on social media as well. Hold on. I've not turned
What
your
about
mic-
my show?
It's...
What about my show?
I'm not in charge of that. I don't know.
Can't you adjust that copy, Stephanie? Adjust this copy.
For your information, I wrote that copy, and you can tell by all the typos in it. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. A man marked safe from parasitic diarrhea because he doesn't eat leafy greens.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
It's Dave Weekly.
That's fair. It feels so comfortable in here as opposed to outside on the surface of the sun.
My wife sent me a text earlier and said it feels liquidy outside.
That's a really good one.
I'll have to ask Brian if that's an official meteorological term, liquidy.
Yeah. Well, it can't be any worse than heat dome.
Yes, that's
right?
true. Heat indices.
It's raining out there. That's an atmospheric river to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I was looking. What are you talking about on your question of the day?
College baseball is going to go to the ABS system next year. If you got the gear, no fear. You got computer. You got robot umps starting next year. What do you think about that? You cool with that?
No, I'm not a fan. I like old.
Not a fan.
No.
Okay.
No. Part of the fun of sports is bad calls. You know, that's part of it. So, no, I'm not a fan. Your food, by the way, you asked me, it's Campbell's new line of protein soups.
I know.
20 grams of protein per serving, lemon pepper chicken and rotini, Southwest black bean, and Mediterranean lentil. Of those three, I would definitely go with the lemon pepper chicken. However, there's enough sodium in there to kill everybody in this room 3 times.
That's probably true. You know what? Because of these items, it's getting harder and harder for me to get down on my hands and knees and find the unhealthy soup in the back.
Well, all canned soup is unhealthy, just so you know, because it's loaded with sodium.
That's true.
And says the man who downed chicken wings and beer last night for dinner. So, all right, hotline coming up on many of these same Metro News stations. Stephanie, Ryan, thank you so much. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. Till then, have fun. Stay liquidy. I love some money.